Hi there, and welcome to another video where I will be discussing and testing the MACD crossed strategy. In this strategy, the MACD and CCI indicators are used to create signals for buying and selling crypto. Let's find out how it performs. I'm still going strong on the strategies that are provided by the Freqtrade developers, and this time I'm testing the MACD crossover strategy, which is also available in their GitHub repository. That Berlin guy in CA did an amazing job again by providing us with the code, and you can find the code on your screen now. And as always, I will go over the code, test the initial strategy, and see if it would perform better if I optimize the strategy's parameters. So let's quickly start by looking at the code this time. And of course, as with any Freqtrade strategy file, first of all the additional modules are loaded. Then, after the class has been created, there is a small explanation of what the strategy does. And this is somewhat different to all the other strategies codes which I have tested earlier. So, what this strategy does is, when the MACD crosses above the MACD signal line, and when the CCI is in oversold territory of under -50, then a buy signal is generated. And the sell signal is happening when the MACD crosses below its signal line again, when the CCI is in overbought territory of +100. And if I say so myself, this is a pretty simple strategy. This explanation is then followed by the usual mandatory strategy parameters of ROI, stop loss and time frame. And already I can see that the strategy will probably run into problems because of the stop loss setting, which is already 6 times bigger than the highest ROI take profit here. The proposed time frame for this strategy is the 5-minute time frame, based on these initial settings. After this, the strategy's indicators are defined in the following method. The MACD is set up with the default indicator values, and also the CCI here is set up with this default indicator. So, as you can see, a pretty simple strategy. Here in the buy signal setting, the buying and asset signals happens as stated in the strategy's explanation at the start of this code. A signal is generated when the MACD crosses above the signal line, when the CCI is also below the -50 level. And the same thing goes for the sell signal. A sell signal gets generated when the MACD crosses below the signal line when the CCI is higher than 100. Now let's test this pretty simple setup on multiple time frames to find out which time frame has the best response and therefore the best probability to future gains. So after these initial backtests, the 1-day time frame reacts the best to this strategy and its setup. While most of the configured pairs respond to this strategy, the gains are not that great. Also, a win rate of almost 95% looks very good, maybe a little bit unrealistic. So, what is keeping this great win rate to not have such high profits? Now, if I look at the exit reasons, I can see that with only 227 trades over 5 years of data, this strategy certainly tests your patience. Apparently the circumstances the buy triggers are configured on are so rare that these occur not many times. And as also predicted, the 10 stop loss triggers almost eat up 75% of the total amount of profits. And because of the simplicity of this strategy, there's actually not much more to say and to see if we optimize these ROI and stop loss levels, if it will improve the strategy's results. And if we are lucky, the profit taking will improve in comparison with the losses from the stop losses. So after optimizing the ROI and stop loss after the hyperopt session, the results of the strategy look like this. And as you can see, there is a slight improvement in profits, but as we already know by now, other ratios can get worse. So in this case, you will experience more losing trades and the amount of pairs that react good on these settings will also get worse. But the profits will get better and the drawdown also improves. The most noticeable thing here is that the amount of trades do not get a lot higher than the earlier 227. Now there are only 239 trades in total, which is still not that much over 5 years. And for each successful trade there is also a losing trade, but the average profit per winning trade is now around 5% higher. So let's take a look at the plots to visually experience what this strategy does over time. The plot of the initial backtest shows a steep drawdown around August 2019. And a little bit before that, XRP also showed a big loss, and in the drawdown period another few pairs caused this strategy to perform bad. If I look at the altcoin chart, then the month of August and September in 2019 performed not really well, but to say that there was a major crash going on is a little bit overdone. The big crash already happened a year before, so why these sudden drops appear in the chart should be examined further. But in any case, these stop losses did exactly what I said. They caused a big hole in your trading account, and from that moment on the strategy slowly crawled into profit again. If this had not happened, it could perform much better, I think. Now the plot of this optimized settings looks a lot better. Already from the start it adds money to your trading account, and the drawdown and underwater plot shows that only from the profit peaks there are some losses. To me this chart gives me much more comfort, because if I started with $1000, as in the backtests in this video, it would never go below that amount. As far as I can tell from these graphs, of course. However, there is something particular in both these charts, and that is in the parallelism plot. You can see that the amount of trades is always relatively low, and sometimes it peaks to 10 parallel trades, but not many times over the complete backtesting period. This means to me that the strategy settings might be too tight and prevents trades because it never reaches the levels configured. Maybe it is because the -50 CCI lower level is just too low, and it should be a little bit higher. Or that the exact MACD crossover never happens when the CCI is below -50. As said earlier, more investigation is needed to make this strategy work better. Now looking at the results of both these tests, I have a dilemma. The initial backtest has the better score, mainly because of the win rate, and of the way the pairs react to these settings, which are pretty default. The only thing that bothers me here is that under specific circumstances some pairs can cause major drawdowns, and I'm not sure why this happened at the moment. After the drawdown event it did make some continuous profits, and in the end it made some actual profits, but you had to be patient and had to have a lot of faith in the strategy the whole time, and sometimes that is not easy to do. The optimization and improvements of the ROI and stop loss made this strategy perform way better. But now some important factors score pretty low and therefore cause the overall score to be also lower. But the Kalmar, Sortino and Sharpe ratio say that this is the better setup. So now what do I do? And this time I think I will go against my own scoring mechanism and follow my gut feeling and well-established ratios. Also the fact that there are only 10 points separating the score of the initial and optimized settings, and the fact that I do not like the sudden unexplained drops in the initial settings makes me wary of this strategy, no matter what the settings are. So therefore I will use the optimized strategy settings as the scoring in the strategy league. I will still give this strategy lots of the credits it deserves, but I do not want this strategy to score that high, because I still do not like these sudden drops like in the example before. Other strategies I tested earlier did not experience these same drops, and also the optimized one did not have these. But I know that this strategy in other situations and with other pairs may perform quite differently. So nothing stops you from improving this strategy to your own situation and likings. And maybe this is the best one for your situation, who knows. So let's end this short video with this simple strategy, and let's continue with testing newer ones. Thank you for watching my video, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye!